Splendor, stateliness, beauty, radiating power, esteem, and wealth. Though they stand out from their environment, their gardens melt smoothly into the surrounding countryside. They are the mighty monuments of times gone by. Similar ones exist elsewhere in the world, maybe even as beautiful. But these belong to us. They preserve our history and art. They fill us with pride. It is a good feeling to have them with us, and we are happy to introduce them to you. Castles in Hungary. Castles have their own fate. They have had to withstand many wars and destructive regimes. But they have managed to survive. The Gödöllő Palace, for example, which suffered from grave damage, has regained its original splendor. It is perhaps Hungary's most remarkable Baroque castle. It was built at the beginning of the 18th century by Earl Antal Graszalkovich, who was originally a minor nobleman. The castle had such artistic beauty and grandeur that it became the Hungarian king's summer residence from 1867. Francis Joseph I and Queen Elizabeth were also among its guests, and this was the place where Charles IV witnessed the fall of the monarchy. It is situated less than 30 kilometers from Budapest, and it also is the touristic and cultural center of the region. This is another wonderful palace. It is in Keszthely, at the westernmost corner of Lake Balaton. The Festatich family used to own it. Its appearance is characterized by the subtlety and serenity of neo-Baroque. The central tower, which links the wings of the palace, resembles the Zwinger in Dresden, while the corner blocks are a copy of the Belvedere in Vienna. The palace is surrounded by a 72-acre garden. The staircase also serves as a family portrait gallery. The most renowned members of the Festatich family, from earls to princes, greet the visitors, whose number is well beyond 100,000 per year. Salons, studies, and bedrooms open their doors, and the visitors can marvel at both the modest or fancy styles they are furnished in, ranging from Baroque, Directoire, Empire, and Biedermeier to Neo-Renaissance and Neo-Baroque. The Empire furniture of the nearly 200-year-old Noble Library, together with its book collection of several thousand volumes, have miraculously survived the historic chaos of the past, and they can be seen and enjoyed in their original place. The most wonderful room of the castle is the Venice-mirrored banquet hall, which is the magnificent scene of various conferences and chamber music concerts. Now an entirely different style from Șarvar in western Transdanubia. It is a fort and palace. The castle is protected by the Italian bastions of the Renaissance military architecture, which were supposed to withstand and repel the Turkish onslaught. Its lords were the Nádasdis, who held high ranks and considered the country's independence and the ousting of invaders their most important task. This explains why, in 1653, Ferenc Nádasdy decorated the ballroom with Renaissance frescoes of his grandfather's famous battles. This background is also the reason why the castle was modernized again and again, starting from 1532, according to the most updated military techniques of the time. We can already see the next artistic style on the walls of the main hall. There are Baroque murals with scenes from the Old Testament. Visitors can see a county museum display of different interiors together with other exhibitions. The Széchenyi Castle in Nagycenk emerges in the axis of an ancient linden grove behind a French Baroque garden. This is where the greatest Hungarian, István Széchenyi, lived his life. He initiated and managed the construction of the Chain Bridge, the first bridge in Budapest, as well as the start of steamshipping on the Danube. Today, the famous castle has been extended to encompass a 17-room and 2-apartment inn with various restaurants and reception rooms. The Szabadkígyós Castle used to be the holiday home and estate center for a wealthy bourgeois family. The building was already admired by the many visitors of its time. The Italian Renaissance architectural style was also prevalent among several other aristocratic castles in Europe around the 1870s. Travelers could find a castle here at the end of the 16th century, and then a palace was built upon the old ruins in the peaceful decades around 1740. It was surrounded by a beautiful English garden. After World War II, the castle stood damaged and pilfered for a while, and then a hunting exhibition was organized there. The splendid Rococo Rimanozzi Castle was also built at the beginning of the 18th century, and it is a true witness to the desires, culture, and taste of the people who used to reside in it. When my grandfather bought Martonvásár, he could see nothing but infinite marshland, writes Therese Brunswick in 1846. She later became the lady of the fabulous castle, built in the spectacular Tudor Gothic style. The place was really made famous by Beethoven, who often traveled to Martonvásár as the piano teacher of the Brunswick girls. Josephine may have been the immortal lover, the inspiration of many musical pieces. The current generation honors the memory of the great composer by organizing popular concerts at the center of the 100-acre English garden. These concerts are well known throughout Europe. His contemporaries called Prince Miklós Esterházy the Bright, when in the 2 decades following 1763, he built the Hungarian Versailles on the basis of French and Viennese plans. The palace is the greatest venture of Hungarian Rococo architecture and garden art, with its multitude of frescoes, Chinese paintings, and sophisticated woodwork. The prince and princess lived downstairs, and the upstairs apartments were reserved for the king and queen and their heirs. An opera house was also part of the palace, which was directed by the renowned musician Joseph Haydn, who not only organized and managed the musical life of the Esterházy estate, but also presented his master with several musical pieces. The music of Haydn sounds perhaps the most authentic among the walls of the Mirror Hall of the Fertőd Palace. Castle Inns. You can find accommodation in most of our castles. Spending some time in the aristocratic grandeur of past times will undoubtedly be a special experience for a modern visitor. Castle hotels. You can find them in tiny settlements which are off the beaten track, but they are definitely worth discovering. You can enjoy an atmosphere which will certainly bring you unequaled experiences if you are looking for comfort without the uniformity of modern life. There are more intimate and friendly pensions, as well as mansion houses with grand halls and a big household. No matter which type you choose, you can feel as if you were the master of the castle. This castle hotel, for example, has its own chapel and ballroom in addition to its own swimming pool and equestrian ring. Similarly to the past, large castles are the center of social life today as well. It is easy to imagine the unique ambiance they bring to any occasion, be it a conference, a friendly get-together, a family reunion, or any social event. Castles greatly enrich the Hungarian touristic attractions with their unique spirit, and they can be found throughout Hungary. They offer cultural experiences as well as exotic accommodations. So during your next visit to Hungary, why don't you see and experience for yourself the magic and beauty of Hungarian castles?